Chris Hipkins.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Prime Minister, does he stand by all of his government statements and actions?
Yes, and especially our action to rein in inflation and to reduce the cost of living as part of our plan to rebuild the economy. We had a plan to fight inflation and we started work on day one, stopping the wasteful spending, removing costs on businesses and returning the Reserve Bank to a single focus on inflation. Now we see inflation is tracking down to 3.3% and heading lower. And last week brought more good news for every Kiwi with a mortgage, with the first cut to the official cash rate in 4.5 years. We know life is tough out there, but there are encouraging early signs that our plan is working to get New Zealand back on track.
Supplementary question. What responsibility does he take for the fact that since he became Prime Minister, 57% of construction businesses now report difficulties with government procurement and work consent conditions, up from 36% last year?
Oh my goodness, I just don't know where to start. What a gift. Bad economic mismanagement and vandalism from the previous administration that created something called inflation. And inflation works because then you have an 84% increase in spending, wasteful spending, much of it, and you increase debt from $5 to $100 billion, and you hire 18,000 more public servants, you get high levels of domestic inflation. That then leads to high levels of interest rates. When interest rates go up, that leads to recession, which is what we've been experiencing, thank you to the previous Labor government, and in turn that leads to rising unemployment. That's why this government's working incredibly hard on the root causes of the problem, which is actually getting inflation down so we get interest rates down, so we get the economy growing and we keep people in work. This is a government that wants to get things built, and I really appreciate the members' interest in the area of infrastructure, and I'd ask them to come on board and support our fast-track legislation. What we have a government here that wants to invest in infrastructure, make sure it's modern and reliable infrastructure that drives economic productivity in this country. We've taken the genius idea from David Parker about fast-track provisions, we're putting it in and expanding it further. I'd ask him to come on board and support the rule if he's serious about building infrastructure. There is $68 billion in this year's budget for infrastructure. I would also make a point to the member that actually having projects with names doesn't mean they're actually projects. So spending 6 years on Auckland Light Rail, spending $250 to $300 million, doesn't make it happen. It's just a post-it note slogan bumper sticker. That's what that is. The same thing happened on Lake Onslow, just another bumper sticker. So there's a difference between real projects that improve productivity and phantom projects that just actually are post-it notes.